Back from Once Upon a Time. This is episode 11 of season 4. We are reaching like the halfway point of the season, and I guess the halfway point of the show. I guess for like 3.5 seasons. I don't exactly know how many episodes are on like season 5 and 6, etc., etc. I don't know if they have like 22 or 23 or whatever, but we are basically halfway through the show, which is kind of insane. And yeah, I'm very, very excited to see what's going to happen next. Because the last episode was great. I love how they kind of wrapped up the stuff with the Snow Queen, but the Frozen lot are still about, so are we going to do more with them? Are they just sticking around? Are they like part of the main cast? I don't know. So I'm excited to kind of learn a bit more about that. And obviously Gold is still very much going to be, I feel like he might be stepping forward as like the villain, taking over from the Snow Queen, because he still has a plot afoot. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with that, and just the aftermath of everything in the last episode. Should be interesting to see exactly what they're going to do next and how they kind of set up the second half of the season. I'm very, very intrigued. So yeah, really exciting. I'm really liking this season, considering how kind of skeptical I was of like including the Frozen characters, and still wasn't like big on them in like the first few episodes, how they were being used. But once they got integrated into this main plot with the Snow Queen and everything, and interacted with our main characters, I'm all for it. I really, really like what they've done. So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens next and dive into the rest of the season. So let's get into the next one. A flood destroys Storybook. Everyone drowns.
Did we forget to tell her?
A lot of stuff is going on.
Tell me what?
Tell me why.
Conquered.
I will crush your heart while I'm out doing your dirty work. What are you gonna do?
I like the way they're shooting it, like their heads kind of blocking each other.
Wake my wife and prepare her for my greatest gift.
Divorce?
She's gonna have the life.
And you're rude.
Well, I could be much worse.
I was gonna say, that's a bit of an understatement.
But you're not. You have seen the world, something that I've always wanted to do. Yet you share nothing.
I can show you the world.
What is it?
It was a magic gauntlet with a very specific power. It can locate anyone's greatest weakness.
Does it destroy half the universe with the snap of the fingers? Oh, hell.
But for him, years have passed. His heart moved on.
I guess she gets it.
He's in love with you, Regina.
She's still sad.
And I will step out of the way.
Wow. That's really big of her. I'll give her credit for that.
Which means his magic is strong enough to move between that world.
This broom. When are we getting the broom flashback episode?
Hey, Grandma. Are you taking your trip?
Aw.
I wouldn't worry. She's on a much better path now. Thanks, Grandma.
So was Gold.
Yeah, Belle's.
That's fair. But wholesome.
Right. Didn't expect to see this here.
Oh. Oh, hello. Oh dear.
It appears our Rumpelstiltskin has turned over a new leaf.
Apparently dozens of leaves. You sure we can trust him?
Positive. The crocodile truly has changed.
Oh.
What's wrong?
Yeah.
Acting strange.
Oh, I like that she noticed. That's cool. Just cuts to Gold going, what on earth?
Tell your master I know who she is, and she's just not alive. Just follow my heart. To you.
Yes.
Papa! Papa, help! Help, Papa!
Oh dear.
She could leave Storybook, she can cross the town line and enter a world without magic. And without magic, the hard term would end. So
Oh boy.
found Robin.
Shouldn't be able to come back.
Someone has to go with her. You and Roland.
Tell him I'll miss him. And his charming attempts at snooping around my show.
Yeah.
You knew.
I knew.
Of course he did.
Perhaps you could tell me why.
Tell me why.
But if you don't think villains can get happy endings, Just watch me take one. There's no author of my fate. No
I mean,
storybook with my destiny.
you've got more seasons, buddy.
Been a villain. I want the same for you.
But does he mean that though? Sometimes he can be sincere, but is he just going to give up on Henry like that? Yeah, alright, we get it.
She needs to cross the line. Now.
Okay, you guys go.
This has crossed the line. For me. I want you to stay. I hate this show. I hate it. The merry men don't look very fucking merry right now, do they? Oh, I mean, at least recycle it. Oh shit!
I am impressed.
What the?
The sea witch.
Such a pretty thing. Seems a shame I'll have to crack her pipes.
Harm one hair in her head. Maleficent burns.
Is that Ursula then?
Ursula will kill your maid. And
What the fuck?
Cruella, thought I caught a whiff of desperation and gin. I must say,
Didn't Ursula look different before? Or was that like a fake Ursula? I can't remember. It might have been. Yeah, you can't let her die. Plus this is a flashback, so I know she doesn't die. Wow. What a trio.
why would you do that?
we shall begin. You mean I shall end? Let's not start.
If they just like bulldoze the clock tower, they could stop so many evil villain schemes.
So this is it. Pure so.
Oh, they are leaving.
For taking such good care of my sister. It's kind of what we do.
I'm actually quite sad.
I wish I had met this Mr. Gold. He seemed super helpful. Who was he? I mean, who was he in the other one?
Oh.
Wait, let me get.
Rumpelstiltskin.
Wait, what?
Oh. Oh. Whoa.
I'm too close.
Ah, shit.
I don't understand.
Oh, what?
Why can't I?
Because I commanded you not to.
Oh, fuck. Oh, no.
Drop that.
That's the real one. She's worked out.
Then release everyone.
You are on the naughty step, mister. You're sleeping on the couch.
You told me that gauntlet could lead you to someone's weakness, to the thing they loved the most. Well, you know where it led me, Rumple?
The dagger. The real dagger. Oh, fuck.
Your true love is your power.
I like the power. But there's nothing wrong with power. No one knows that we can have it all.
Didn't we almost have it all?
I command you to leave Storybook.
Oh, no. Please. I won't be able to come back.
I know.
I don't want to lose you.
Should have thought of that, buddy. Oh. Oh, man. I'm afraid she doesn't give a shit. Damn. Now that was a power move, Belle. I'll give you that. I hate that Robert Carlyle's such a good actor because it actually makes me feel sorry for him. Whoa. Hello.
You're right, I should have.
Can I marry her?
Anna, I couldn't walk down this aisle unless you were as happy as I was. Anna, I'm very happy. What is that amazing smell? Chocolate!
Me. Aw. Wholesome.
Just thought if I did it quickly, it'd be like ripping over.
Oh. Oh my.
Shots?
Yes.
Sure, why not?
I want an episode of just those two getting drunk.
So miserable. Again. Thanks. Well, if it makes you feel any better. So is gold. It does. Oh, dude, slow down.
No shots for you.
I found something big.
That looks like your book.
Only it's blank. They all are.
Oh, is this the author's room? The author and the sorcerer are the same person, like I said.
This is full of potential storybooks. We call that Operation Mongoose.
I like it. It's got style. I'm in. You are?
Aww.
I made you a promise I intend to keep. Everyone deserves their happy ending.
Aww. Well, this is excellent. Oh, maybe it's not going to be excellent.
The villains never win.
Why don't you join us?
Perhaps we can change the game together. You severely underestimate.
Are they all in New York?
So this is what a man who always wins looks like.
I assure you, Ursula, my situation is only temporary.
I gotta fix that.
The author.
Pretentious, I hate him
Oh.
already.
Then let's go see him.
Oh.
Tell him what we think. Let's get to things. Two more stops to make.
Oh boy. Okay, I think that was a pretty solid episode overall. I wouldn't say it's like one of my favourites, but I did really, really like how I tied up like the Frozen stuff. For the most part, I liked that. Really enjoyed the stuff they did with Gold and the flashbacks with Rumple and Belle. And then we have this new trio of villains who I guess those three plus Gold might be like the big villains of the second half of the season, which would make sense. They're going to try and get their happy ending and go after the author, but also Regina, Henry and Emma are going after the author, so that could make their paths collide again, which could be interesting. But Rumple seems to know who it was. He said so he seems to know who the author is, so he kind of lies to Regina earlier, which makes me think that conversation, he didn't really mean it when he said, you know, he wanted the same for her, about a happy ending. Which I'm not surprised about, because they haven't often been each other's biggest fans. He's probably just faking the sincerity, which he does quite well, so I'm not too surprised at that. But yeah, where shall we begin? I just liked a big theme of the episode was like being chosen, and wanting to be chosen. We had that with Marion early on. She said, you know, to Regina, a really nice scene actually, you know, I'd want to be chosen if, you know, I didn't want Robin to just like settle down with me because he feels like he should. I wanted to be the one he chose. And then we also had, you know, Robin then choosing Regina. And Belle near the end, she's kind of saying, you know, I wanted to be chosen by you, but Rumple still kind of chose the power instead. So that kind of running theme there. And now Rumple's kind of chosen a new path to go down, and he's chosen like some new allies to lead himself with, I suppose. And I'm interested in seeing where that's going to go. So yeah, I like that kind of running theme throughout the episode. The choices in the past we go down, even like Anna making the choice to postpone her wedding, you know, to make sure Elsa was happy and everything. So that was all really well done. And I guess that's it for the Frozen crew. I don't know if I'll ever see them again. Honestly, with like Frozen 2 coming out, like, is it last year or this year? I can't even remember. The way the world is, all the years have blurred into one, but who knows? What month is it? Who knows? I couldn't tell you. But yeah, I'd be surprised if we saw them again, because Frozen's still quite a big franchise, and they don't know if they could always get the characters. I don't know. But still, if that's a little kind of Frozen arc, they really did win me over on it. I really liked Anna in particular. I really enjoyed the actress playing her and her performance. I thought she was really endearing and really lovable. But all of them were great, I think. I think they did a casting brilliantly there. The only thing I would have liked to have seen a bit more Sven, even in that last episode, if he just got a little bit of a cameo. He kind of disappeared early on, but it makes sense because they had to go to storybook and stuff. And I'm not surprised they didn't use Olaf. That probably would have been a bit difficult to do. Well, they did the trolls, but, you know, it's a different kind of kettle of fish, I guess. If anything, since this seemingly is like the end of their little arc, at least for now, I wish they kind of had a bit more of, you know, the screen time in this episode. And they seem to be near the start, and then at the end, really, they didn't really get a lot of focus. And I feel that's kind of a shame when this was like it for them, I assume. Because I think everything's kind of tied up neatly now for that arc. You know, still, they kind of did what they had to do. And I know they kind of wrapped up a lot of that in the last episode, but I feel like they could have had a bit more to do in this episode if this was going to be like their send-off, but still, I did really, really enjoy seeing them kind of go back home. Christoph and Anna are going to get married, which is cool. I'm very happy about that, and also kind of making peace with the truth about her parents, you know, what they left to do and the whole family thing, and their little goodbye scene was really, really nice as well with Emma and Mary Margaret and everyone. That was really nice. So I was very, very kind of sceptical at the start with the Frozen stuff, and I stand by that. I still think it was very odd in the earlier episodes, but once they got integrated with the main cast and the main plot line, I was all for it, and I think they did a really, really great job with these characters. I did find myself getting really invested in the story. I think the fact that the Snow Queen was involved in that story as well and tied into their history as opposed to just being like a Frozen kind of arc, I think that definitely helped it. So yeah, I did really, really enjoy that. Did I absolutely need like the Frozen characters in Once Upon a Time? No, but the fact that they did get brought in and they did something good with them, they kind of added to their story. I think it kind of makes it a bit more than like, hey, Frozen characters in our show, watch it, please watch it. We want viewers. I wouldn't be surprised if that was kind of one of the main reasons they were brought in. But I think they did have a clear idea for what they wanted to do and a clear vision, and I think they executed that. So even if that was kind of like a main joint point, and I imagine it would be, because at the time I imagine Frozen was still huge. And you know, networks need viewers, so you can't blame them for it. But I do think they had a really nice story, and I like that they kind of added to the lore and stuff like that, and integrated loads of different characters into that arc, and I think it was executed really, really well overall. I did really enjoy it, and I loved the performances of them all and how their story was wrapped up really neatly. I just wish we kind of got a bit more of that. You know, maybe they could have done a bit more of a goodbye scene with everyone, but I understand they also wanted to set up the second half of the season, so it is what it is. What can you do? But yeah, as an ending to that arc, I did really enjoy it, and I was very happy overall with how things kind of played out over this first half of the season with them. I think they did a great job. And Anna kind of hearing about Rumpelstiltskin and kind of telling them and they can't be trusted and everything like that. I thought that was a great way of kind of getting that reveal around. And I like that that wasn't how Belle found out. Belle found out by finding the gauntlet and she kind of worked it all out on her own. I really like that. It's nice that she kind of found out on her own and made that discovery by herself and acted upon it by herself as opposed to someone having to tell her, you know, Gold did this, blah, blah, blah. It's nice that she kind of her own accord found that out. I really like that touch personally as well. So yeah, really happy with that whole kind of Frozen plotline, even if I wish they got a bit more time in this episode. But still, I did really like the Frozen arc overall, and I didn't think I was going to, like in the first few episodes. So I'm really glad that they really did win me over because they had a good story in mind. So I really enjoyed that. If that's it for them, they had a good story, but it is kind of sad because I'm going to miss those characters. So still good stuff there. And then the whole Regina and Robin and Marion mess. Not about it. I did like the scene where Marion was kind of saying, you know, I'll step aside if he does choose you, because I understand, you know, it's been like a few days since it's been so long for you two, so of course you've fallen in love and stuff like that. I really liked that from her, but then obviously this whole curse thing still came about, and she still had that spell affecting her. I don't get quite why that happened. I feel like they didn't really explain it. So, oh, there must be some magic left over. I'm like, well, how? But I felt that was just done so they could do this dramatic thing and maybe write Robin and Marion out of it. But I hope that's not it. I don't know. I mean, I don't think Gold's going to be banished forever. I think he'll come back to Storybook somehow. He'll find a way. So that gives me hope that Robin will as well. If only Robin had been the one who left Storybook in this episode and it wasn't like a big character like Gold leaving, I would have thought, okay, maybe he's just gone. But I really hope we see him again because I love Regina and Robin together so much. They are one of my favourite couples on the show easily. And that little goodbye was so emotional and just so frustrating, but in like a really good way because it shows I'm invested in them. And it just, again, this episode really did showcase how far Regina's come in wanting to get this happy ending and nearly getting it with Robin so briefly. And, you know, in the last episode, her and Mary Margaret and David could have like a laugh together after the spell was ended. In this episode, she could have a drink with Emma, and Emma's like helping her out, trying to find a happy ending, which I'm very excited for in the second half of the season. Those three working together, I think that's going to be great. I'm really, really excited about that. But I've always been intrigued by this author thing. So hopefully the second half of the season is going to be about that and finding out who it is. And based on kind of what we got in this episode in particular, I think that is where they're going with it. And I'm very, very excited about that. Ever since they first introduced the idea of who is the author, and potentially trying to track him down. I've been really excited about that. So I'm glad that seems to be taking like a big focus in the second half of the season. But yeah, the whole Robin mess upsets me greatly, but I hope that's not it, because I'll be so furious. They deserve the time to be together. But still, it shows my investment in that relationship. But it's a twist, and yeah, I guess it's not as bad as when it was revealed that Marion was kind of brought back, and it's like, oh, for God's sake. But I'm sure they'll find a way back. If Gold can almost certainly find a way back in the show, he's not going to spend the rest of the show out of Storybrooke. I'm sure Robin can find a way too, but then how do they address the whole Marion thing? I don't know. If he's gone for good, I'm furious. That's all I will say. But some very good acting in those scenes for sure. And I think it needed to happen in order to spurn this story forward of them finding the author for Regina's sake. So I can see why it happened, even though it sucks. So yeah, I liked all of that, and Henry kind of making the discoveries about the house and how that could be the author's house. I also really liked Henry's scenes with Belle early in the episode, calling her grandma and stuff. Very, very wholesome. We don't often get Belle and Henry scenes, so I really did enjoy that. I loved Belle in this episode overall. I loved seeing the flashbacks, like the first time Rumpel saved her. And yeah, Belle of her own accord kind of working out Rumpel lied to her and finding the real dagger. That reveal was so, so good. And then banishing him, like, what a fucking boss move. Getting divorced. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed her kind of finally finding out exactly what her husband's been up to and just banishing him like that. I love that. It kind of needed to happen. It's a shame. I think they probably will find their way back to each other somehow. I think Golden really needs to repent, but we'll see. I feel like he's going to go full-on villain for a while he's working with these other women, so we'll see what happens. But I did really, really enjoy the stuff with Belle in this episode a lot, and her finding that out and yeah, taking it of her own accord to like banish him. Really, really good stuff with that. And yeah, also Hook finally being like freed of God's influence on him, and Emma putting his heart back in. Seems to be okay with those two. I was scared she was going to be a bit angry at him for like, I don't know, lying to her about what was going on and stuff. I thought they were going to like have that reason to cause problems with their relationship, but they're not going down that route, and I'm very glad about it, because we already have quite a few relationships at the minute that have a bit of problems, you know, like Regina and Robin and Gold and Belle. So that was nice as well, and Emma agreeing to help Henry and Regina on Operation Mongoose is awesome. I can't wait for that story. I think that might be the thing I'm most excited to see more of in the second half of the season. So yeah, that was all good. Really liked all of that. And just, it was a really nice way of kind of tying up all the kind of threads of this first half of the season. You know, they tied up the Snow Queen in the last episode. They tied up the Frozen characters in this one, and Gold's kind of treachery and his plans for, you know, separating himself from the dagger and deceiving Belle. That all got tied up nicely in this one. Then we also got a bit of setup for the second half with Gold and the trio of evil women. And yeah, I'm excited to see. I think we've seen Ursula and Maleficent. I always struggle saying that name. This is going to be torture in the second half. I apologise. I think we've seen those two before. I can't remember seeing Cruella de Vil before. I think this might be her first appearance, but I thought the look of her and everything was really cool. It did seem weird to see like characters like that in that setting, in that set. That felt very bizarre. But I guess it makes sense, because we did see Belle in those flashbacks. There's a Dalmatian there, like luring her away. I think the thing Gold was holding, like the message in, I think that was a shell, so that could be Ursula. And then we had like the raven thing flying over from Maleficent. So I liked the clues they were dropping there for exactly who was involved, and the three villains all teaming up to work together is kind of a cool little twist. You know, we normally have like one villain to defeat, but now we have like three working together, and now Gold on top of that. I think it's really cool. I will say, I don't want to sound mean, but Ursula's costume in the flashbacks in that world, the tentacles I actually thought looked really good, the CGI on them. I thought like the rest of her costume looked very pantomime, and I know that's kind of TV show budget and stuff like that, and it's very hard to do a character like Ursula in live action. But they managed it before with like the vision of Ursula. I feel like it wasn't like exactly Ursula, but they did kind of have her appear, and it looked a bit more like the traditional kind of thing. I think it was someone like pretending to be Ursula. I can't quite remember what episode that was. You'd have to remind me. And I don't think it was actually the real Ursula, or maybe we saw the real one very briefly or something. But yeah, that didn't quite ring true to me. That did feel like pantomime-y, that. But that's just because of the nature of the character, and I think it would be very hard to do them in live action like that unless you like have the budget for it. And I understand they wanted to use her and not do a budget, but I don't know, I was a bit wary of that. So the fact that they now have like real like world personalities and stuff because they're all in New York. I think that makes a lot more sense, and it's going to be a lot easier to kind of digest having Ursula on screen all the time, because it didn't quite sit well with me, the design of Ursula in the flashbacks. But I understand that it was probably the only way they could do it for like budget concerns and everything. They couldn't have her be like a proper tentacly octopusy lady every single episode. But yeah, maybe just don't use the character if you're going to do that. But they have her in like the real world stuff, so I don't really mind. But that was the only kind of, that took me out of the scene a lot, seeing Ursula like that. I was like, well, you look like a Halloween costume Ursula, no offence. But now they are seemingly in like the modern day and actual world. You can be a lot more forgiving because she was just like working in an aquarium. So I like that a lot. I'm excited to see what happens with that and see a bit more of Cruella potentially, because I don't think we've seen her before, so that was cool. And to see a lot more of Maleficent, because I feel like we haven't seen a lot of Maleficent. I feel like she was in like the early seasons. I don't think we've seen her for a little while. So bringing her back into it is pretty cool. Because, you know, sometimes once upon a time you do have like these big kind of storybook characters like Cinderella, for example. You get like an episode to themselves, then they're kind of in the background for the rest of the time. And you're like, oh, I wish we kind of had more focus on that character and actually given them more arcs and stuff. So the fact that they are revisiting like Maleficent and Ursula is really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with them, and introducing Cruella will also be a lot of fun, I think. And I'm looking forward to seeing that dynamic with those three and Gold, and exactly what their plans are going to be for like finding the author and stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing where that's going to lead for the rest of the season. I was a lot more hyped for the Wicked Witch when she was kind of revealed as the big bad for the second half of season 3, but you know, I was very sceptical of the Frozen characters, and they did a great job with them. So I'm sure they've got a really cool story in mind with those guys, and I am excited to see characters that have, for the most part, been in it before but not had like huge roles, giving them a bit more of a chance to shine. I think that's going to be really cool to see, and to see exactly what Gold's next move is going to be with them and the whole author situation. I'm very, very excited about that. So yeah, overall I think this is a really, really great kind of wrap up for the first half of the season and set up for the second half. I loved Belle in particular, everything with her. I loved what they're doing with Gold and the flashbacks with the Rumple and Gold as well. The Regina and Robin stuff is so painful, but I hope that's not it. But I love her, and working with Hema and Henry. Henry and Emma to kind of find the author as well. That's going to be really exciting next season. The wrapping up of the Frozen stuff I thought was done pretty well. I wish we'd got a bit more of it, but still what we got was great. And yeah, I'm really, really excited to see what the second half of the season is going to bring. And we'll be getting to that very, very soon. So yeah, really solid episode overall. I did really enjoy it. And yeah, looking forward to seeing what the second half of season 4 has in store. Hopefully more bloody Robin and Regina. Better come back. But yeah, good episode overall. And until my next reaction, thanks for watching.